cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do.
Hello, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa virtual service. I am Edward Filion, the Senior Minister, and I'm so pleased to be here to welcome you virtually. If this is your very first time with us, thank you for joining us. You can find out a whole lot of information about our center and how we're staying together and connecting during this shelter-in-place time by visiting our newly designed and easy-to-navigate website at www.cslsr.org. And if you are a regular, thank you for being here. And I have some very important announcements, community announcements today, and I want to start off with them before we get to our inspiration and our message. There are three important announcements, and the first is that we are carrying on enrolling members. If you want to be a member at the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, you do not have to wait until we gather again physically. You can take the free member orientation class next Sunday. And all you have to do is register so we can get all of the information ready for you. And even if you are a member, I invite you to come and join us anyway, especially if you've been a member for a while, and you can learn about the updates, what's going on, how decisions are made. So go to our website, register for the new member orientation, and come and join us. Two other important announcements include our non-profit partner program. We're starting to receive nominations for that, and it's coming on time for you, maybe it's you, to begin asking, am I called to being part of the leadership on the Board of Trustees for this Center for Spiritual Living? So here are two video announcements to help you get clear on those two things.
Hello, my name is Nancy Reynolds. I'm the current Vice President of the Center's Board of Trustees, and I'm also the chair of this year's Board Nominating Committee. We're in the process of accepting applications for the 3 members who will join the board next March. And I'm here today with one of our trustees, first-year trustee, Kate Luna. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Nancy.
So good to be with you. I've asked Kate to be here so that we can talk a little bit about her experience becoming a board member. And so the question I just want to ask you is, Kate, what made you decide to apply for a position on the Board of Trustees?
Well, I had a pre-existing condition about boards. I'd spent some time around boards as a teacher and a parent, school boards, and also with nonprofit boards. And there were always these political issues and factions and who was on whose side and getting stuff pushed and trying to get other people out and other people in. And factions are not my thing. Politics, not my thing. And so I just made this sweeping generalization about boards. But I was sitting in service one Sunday and got a download that was I heard in my head, apply for the board. Mm. And I was like, you can't mean me. Like, I'm not your girl. Must mean that, well, she looks like she'd like to be on the board. And then I realized, okay, that was a message and I'm going to follow it. And so I came up to you and asked you about your board experience, and speaking with you about collaboration and the groundwork of bringing our spiritual teachings into how the board operates really touched me. And I was like, that I can do. That really interests me. That not just I can do, I want to do that. And I want to replace my old existing condition with a new experience. And so I did.
Yeah, you described it really well. That is what it is to be on the board of the center. So I'm really glad that you're on the board this year, Kate. And I know we have lots more to talk about, and we'll do that in future weeks. But I just want to thank you for being here, and also mention to everyone that if you'd like to learn more about applying for the board or what it is to serve, there's information available on the center's website, which is, as you probably know, cslsr.org. And from there, you can find links to an information packet, as well as frequently asked questions, and possibly most importantly, links to the other trustees' information. So you can reach out to us and ask questions. Since we don't have the benefit of being in the social hall right now, it's a great way to learn more just by reaching out. We'd love to talk with you about serving on the board. All right, well, thank you. And Kate, I'm so glad you're with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everyone. We are Dennis and Linda O'Breer, happy and blessed to be part of the Giving Intention team. We're excited to ask you, our wonderful community, to be active participants in nominating nonprofit partners that share our global vision of a world that works for everyone. Do you have a nonprofit organization that is near and dear to your heart? Perhaps one that you've benefited from personally and that has shared values with your spiritual center? This year, we're especially interested in considering organizations that focus on racial equity and social justice.
We have created an online nomination form at www.cslsr.org under the Sunday links. We look forward to receiving your nominations before the deadline of August 31st. In September, the Giving Intentions team will review and vet the nominations and then make our recommendations to the Board of Trustees. We thank you in advance for taking the time to make these nominations. This long-standing program reflects our values of circulation, support for the community, and helping to create a world that works for everyone.
We will be announcing our 2021 nonprofit partners in October. Blessings to all.
Centers for Spiritual Living everywhere have the option to follow monthly themes just like we do. And as the spiritual leader for our organization, I provide short introductions to those themes. Here is a video that I created for our movement. Hello, I am Edward Follion. This month's suggested theme is Inclusion in Action. And the topic for this week is colorblind or colorful. Now you may have heard the phrase, I don't see color. Some people say that meaning to refer to the oneness of all life. And here is another way to think about it. It comes from the content providers for this week's suggested theme, the Diversity Inclusion Commission of Centers for Spiritual Living. Can you imagine looking at a beautiful garden that has flowers with many different colors, textures, and heights, but you're not able to see all of the variations in color because you are blind to the variety. You can't see the colors. Now imagine instead not only seeing all the colors that our eyes are capable of seeing, but enjoying them and being interested and curious about them, because after all, they are created by the divine. Though the idea of color blindness might be considered as inclusive, I invite you to consider this, that to see and appreciate color is to truly see and appreciate people for who they are. I think this is the meaning of the statement from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, that unity and uniformity are not the same thing. Our different life experiences make us different from each other. And that is worth celebrating and exploring. We live in a world that is abundantly diverse, with each of us expressing the divine in our own colorful way. So here are 3 ideas I invite you to consider this week. Number 1, oneness is not sameness. Number 2, diversity is the natural state of creation. And number 3, we are connected with those who are different. It's a common idea in our world today that if someone doesn't believe or think the way we do, or doesn't look the way we look, that we can't possibly be connected to them. And so a possible call to action this week might be this. If we are interested in embodying oneness, let us try being in conversation with people who have different worldviews, and to engage in those conversations with the intention to truly listen and to take in and to appreciate the differences. Because in that kind of being open, we get a glimpse of what oneness really is. My blessings. It is now time for us to turn within and prepare for today's message. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and to exhale, perhaps letting your eyes close as we prepare for our spiritual mind treatment, which is our term for affirmative prayer, and for the message. To lead us into that state of receptivity, please enjoy this music. And again, welcome.
God is life, I am life. God is light, I am light. God is joy, I am joy. God is peace, I am peace. God is love, I am love. God is beautiful, I am beautiful. God is powerful, I am powerful. All of these things God is, I am. All of these things I am. God is life, I am life. God is light, I am light. God is joy, I am joy. God is peace, I am peace. God is love, I am love. God is beautiful, I am beautiful. God is powerful, I am powerful. All of these things God is, I am. All of these things I am.
Good morning. I invite you to close your eyes and settle in. Settle into that place of quiet, remembering that there is one thing going on, and that is the presence of divine spirit. It is everywhere present, without any boundaries, without any restrictions, only freedom, only transformation and openness. It is the power of life itself. It creates and sustains and informs and enriches all that it has created. It is love, joy, peace, harmony. And I am one with it. It moves through and as my very being. I am an expression of the divine. And I know this to be true for each one listening, that each one is a unique, individualized expression of the one power, spirit. And from this oneness with the divine, I speak my word for the service. I accept that each of us has an open heart, an open mind to the message, to the music, to the experience of being together. I accept for us a sense of clarity, a sense of peace, a sense of ease about life. This service is blessed. The divine is expressing itself through the words, the music, and everything that transpires here together. This is blessed ground. May we each be open and receive. And I release my word into the law that always, always says yes. And so it is. Good morning. I'm Jan Svoboda, a prayer practitioner here at the center. Here is today's affirmation from our Beyond 2020 Spiritual Vision Book of Affirmations. As I go through my daily life, Spirit is infusing all of my activities, providing all the energy I need for whatever is required. And so it is.
I feel these changes, they're carrying me to a new life. So it would seem uncertainty, clarity, unity, where we be. Decisions that could change so much of this life as it was. A new chapter is born, pages yet to be seen. My breaths grow deeper these days. Love and gratitude are all that stays, yeah. The season of change, yeah, is deep within my soul. come. So many friends have gone, so many still yet to come. The smiles and the tears that shed, the tapestry of this web, of the lives I've lived before and the lives I'm soon to live with. Who am I now and who will I become? Yeah, oh, there's so much to this life I'm grateful for, all I've learned. And oh, Spirit surrounds me, oh, Spirit's within me. Oh, a new day will come, shining like a brilliant sun. And I won't be afraid of what's soon to be. Just accept what lies ahead in all its beauty. Well, hearts may break, things will change. The lives we lived will never be the same, and that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Who am I now and who will I become? Yeah, oh, there's so much to this life I'm grateful for, all I've learned. And oh, Spirit surrounds me, and oh, Spirit's within me. Oh, a new day will come, shining like a brilliant sun.
Hello, and welcome to this week's consideration of our monthly theme, Spiritual Growth in Action. I'm Joyce Stafala, a minister at the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, and as always, my comments are rooted in the spiritual philosophy articulated by Ernest Holmes, which he referred to as the science of mind and spirit. A few minutes ago, you heard our affirmation for the month, which is, I clearly see my spiritual growth in action. I clearly see my spiritual growth in action. And today's topic is behaviors to adopt. Behaviors to adopt so that we can see clearly our spiritual growth in action. For me, this topic suggests this line of thinking. How do we anchor ourselves in our true spiritual nature so that any actions we take can benefit not only ourselves, but other people and our world? As we all know, business as usual in life as we knew it is not happening now. It has not been our experience for a while. These are, in fact, transitional times. We are living in a state of being in transit. It's like when you go on a trip, if you can remember those. You leave the home that you know, the home that is familiar to you, and you go someplace new where you've never been before, and you don't yet really know what it's going to be like. That's us now. In these transitional times, we are all on a journey together, going from something we knew to something that we don't yet know. And because we are in transit in these transitional times, these are also transformational times because in order to arrive in the new place, we also are becoming something new. You know, it's getting more and more obvious that to survive as a species, we must find new ways to do things, which means we have to find a new way of being. Perhaps you're already noticing in yourself that you are not the same person that you were 6 months ago. Like me, you're probably living your life in a somewhat different way. New habits, new concerns, new desires, new activities. And you may have also noticed a new kind of resiliency in yourself, a new set of resources, a new set of priorities as to what is really important. You know, as a young woman, I came of age, like some of you, I came of age in the late 60s. As young Americans, we wondered what our country was doing, embroiled in a war in Vietnam, a war killing untold numbers of innocent people in Vietnam and killing and maiming unwilling draftees among our young men. It was also a time when it was becoming clear that the recent Civil Rights Act was not guaranteeing substantial change in the lives of African Americans. Among my contemporaries, there was a great call for revolutionary change. And yet, as I looked around at the economic, political, and social systems of the time, I noticed how solid they appeared, how entrenched we were in things as they had been, how impossible it seemed that things could ever really fundamentally change. Well, fast forward about 50 years to the present, and who knew that it would be a virus that would precipitate the undoing of long established systems? Who knew that it would be a virus that would make us question our political systems, make us see the glaring faults in our economic systems, and undeniably bring into focus long established class and racial inequity? Who knew that a virus could make us unmistakably aware of the frailty of our infrastructures and the delicate vulnerability of our climate and ecosystems? So here we are now, watching things that seemed solid beginning to unravel before our very eyes. So what can we rely on? Well, I believe that what will see us through this time to a better yet to be are the same two things that in human history we've always turned to at momentous times. First of all, each other. We need to rely on each other. And second, we need to rely on something bigger than our human selves, a universal divine power that is more loving than we are or we know how to be, a universal divine mind that is more intelligent than we are, a universal divine source that is more creative than we are. And that power, which is always working through each of us and available to us in greater and greater ways as we open more fully to it, available to us individually and collectively. That's what we can rely on. This divine power, intelligence, and love as it shows up in ourselves and in each other. Clearly, the time for focusing on our individual selves is over. The me first attitude that's been with us since the 1980s is an attitude that no longer works. Even in our own use of the science of mind spiritual philosophy, I'm noticing a shift. So many of us, myself included, first became aware of this philosophy when our own lives were in disarray. And what healing balm it was to find out that we live in a universe that is for us. That this thing called God was not some far off, arbitrary, judgmental being, but rather an immediate, loving power and presence available equally to each of us to allow us to thrive. And that where we put our divine creativity of our own personal attention and thought had a great effect on the quality of our experience. Well, perhaps you did what I did when I first found this understanding. I used it to improve my own life, bringing about more good in my physical and financial well-being and my personal relationships and my individual spiritual quest. But then I remembered another fundamental truth in our teaching. We are one. Yes, inextricably one. Of course, one planet, one people, but even more fundamentally, one being. One with spirit or God, and one in this divine spirit with each other. Meaning, anything I do, say, or think has an effect on the whole, has an effect on those around me, has an effect on the world. And so I began to use my thought, my words, my prayer to benefit others. And then came the question, which continues in an ongoing and regular way for me. In addition to my thoughts, words, and prayers, what is mine to do? How can I best use my actions in a way that contributes to the well-being of the entire whole human community and the ecosystem of life around me? As Ernest Holmes explained, infinite mind is forever in action, producing good. This action is the activity of all of us. What a stunning statement. That the activity of God itself that produces good is the action in me, the action coming through me, coming through you, coming through all of us. So, my question to myself is, what is my activity that will bring about the experience of more divine good for all of us? You know, there's something else that's very special about this time we're in. As you know, India has a long spiritual tradition, and by long, I mean millennium after millennium after millennium. And part of this millennial long spiritual tradition is a form of astrology, which is different from Western astrology as we know it here. Now, as a student of science of mind, I hold that the ultimate power in my life, in your life, in the universe, is the divine one, spirit, God, more powerful than any condition. And yet, as I walk through the world, I do take note of conditions. So if it's raining outside, I carry an umbrella. And so it is with this same noticing that I reference this ancient form of astrology, which speaks of how we are in the process of moving from one epoch to another, an epoch being 432 years. So right now, we are at the end of a 432-year epoch known as the Kali Yuga, or Dark Age. And we are soon to welcome the new epoch, Sat Yuga, the Golden Age. And even more specifically, according to this system of astrology, this Golden Age is predicted to begin making itself apparent around about next February. Imagine if this is true, what it could mean. We are in a transition from a dark age to a golden age. We are collectively coming out of the dark and into the light. That perspective allows me to look at the world and see this larger context for all the wild things that are happening. We're in transition. You're familiar with transitions. I mean, there was a big one when we were teenagers, going from a child, no longer a child, and yet not an adult. Perhaps like my teen years, you had the experience that it wasn't always pretty as major transformation came about physically and mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and in our worldview. So, if we are in the process of preparing for a golden age, and why not just imagine that we are? What behaviors can we adopt that will be of most benefit to ourselves, to other people, and to our world in this time of transition and beyond? What can we do to accelerate our own spiritual growth and awareness? What can we do to, as Gandhi said, be the change we want to see in the world? In other words, how can we embody, even now, a new spiritually founded way of being? What behaviors can we adopt? Well, I don't know about you, but I have never had much success in telling other people how to behave. I've noticed that people are much more interested in what they think they should do rather than what I think they should do. So rather than specifying what behaviors you should adopt during this very sacred and unique time, I'd like to suggest a path of spiritual self-inquiry that might help bring to light for you what behaviors are right for you in order to bring about spiritual growth in our world. And when I say spiritual growth, I'm thinking about things like the expansion of our awareness of the presence of spirit among us, the witnessing of tangible evidence that God is here now as us, the revealing of ever increasing good for all. So how can we find this spirit, this God, this good in our world? What exactly are we looking for? Well, Ernest Holmes gives some advice. He says, our endeavor is not so much to find God, to discover the divine source of our personal being, as it is to become acquainted with God. I like that. It feels very friendly. Let's get acquainted. Well, okay, how do we do that? You know, when you get acquainted with somebody, you start to find out what they're like. So, what is this thing like? Well, one person who asked himself this question was Thomas Troward, a 19th century British spiritual philosopher who had a very logical approach to such questions. Also, he had a big effect on Holmes. So it was through a logical approach that Troward arrived at these 7 qualities of God, of spirit. Troward reasoned that the nature of God must be light, life, joy, love, peace, beauty, power. For example, Troward reasoned that since this divine thing was ever giving of itself, infinitely, eternally, then its nature must be love. Or, logically, its nature must be peace, for if there was any conflict within its nature, it would destroy itself. So here's what I'm suggesting we can do. As we look for and encourage spiritual growth in ourselves and in our world, we could use these 7 qualities as guides to the presence of spirit. You might take the approach of focusing on one quality for a day, and I have some questions to guide you in your search. So let's say, for example, that for the rest of today or tomorrow, you and I decide to focus on the principle that God is life. Well, the first thing to do is to ask ourselves, what does that mean? What is life? And you take a few moments right there where it says my own definition of life is. Take a few moments to think about what life means to you. What other words come to mind when you think of life? Or maybe what images, what can you draw that represents life to you? Then, now that you know what aspect of the divine you're looking for, you get to keep your eyes open for it as you go through your day. And at some point, you may even write down some examples of this. Number 2, when, today, I've noticed divine life in action in the following situations. Okay, so we have a sense of what it is, and we have found examples of it. But how do we bring more of it about? How do we expand it? Well, more helpful words from Ernest Holmes. Divine intelligence is acting in and through us now. Divine intelligence not only knows what to do, it impels us to act on its knowing. In other words, Spirit already has ideas for what you can do, and it's trying to give them to you. And so you could spend a few moments in stillness and silence so that it can reveal for you, as it says in number 3, ideas for actions to bring more life into my personal experience. And also number 4, ideas for bringing more life for others in the world. If you would like to join me in this experiment this week, know that I've prepared worksheets for you, and you can find them at our website. As usual, go to www.cslsr.org, scroll down on that homepage, scroll down to the very bottom where you see quick links. Under quick links, you click on Files for You. And when you click there, you'll be taken to a place where you're given options like seeing the bulletin and other things. But what we're looking for in this case is the title of today's talk, Behaviors to Adopt. And that's where you'll find the sheets you can follow. My thought is that as we focus on each of the 7 qualities of spirit and invite divine intelligence to guide us into action that will reveal more of these qualities, that we will increase our ability to clearly see spiritual growth in the world, and we'll also be doing our part in making real the prediction of a golden age. And by the way, because I was quoting Troward, I used the word God. But of course, please use whatever word rings true for you, for that ever-present loving power whose only desire is for your good and the good of all around you, eternally expanding. Let's conclude our time together in prayer. So as we turn within, I bring my attention to that one infinite, eternal power and presence of love, of life, of light, of joy, of beauty, of peace, remembering that it is present in all that is seen and all that is unseen. It is the original cause of everything that is, and it shows up as everything that is. That includes me, and it includes all within the sound of my voice and beyond. Right where each of us is, this divine loving power is sustaining, holding, and guiding us in revealing more and more good for ourselves, for all people, and for the world. And remembering that what is fully known in consciousness becomes so in our experience, I give thanks for the ways that our collective attention and intention bears fruits of good for all beings. It is with this gratitude that I release this affirmative prayer and simply say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Joyce, for today's message. And thank you for being with us today, and thank you for supporting your center financially. I really appreciate that you take the time to go to our online donation portal on our website and make your contribution. So many of you have converted your giving to online giving, and that really helps us. And many of you still send your checks in to our physical address, and the messages that you include. They really give us courage and hope. If you stay tuned to the end of the service, you'll see some of those messages have been transcribed by our COO, Linda Hand, so that we can enjoy everything that is in the heart of our community. And while you consider the contribution that the Center for Spiritual Living makes to your life, I invite you to enjoy this music.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Oh, let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
And now it's time for our community announcements. This afternoon, something wonderful. You're invited to our monthly virtual social hall experience. Everyone can participate. The information is on our website. It's an opportunity for us to see each other on Zoom and talk with old friends and new friends, make some new friends, and also hear a bit more about what's happening at the center. That takes place at 1 p.m. and so you log out of this Zoom webinar, go to our website, get the link for the virtual social hall, and join us at 1 p.m. I'd love to see you there. Now, everything that I'm sharing with you is available on our website. All of the links there under the when you go to our website, you scroll down and you'll see it. It's very easy to find, and you'll also find access to our bulletin, which is really full of emails and links for you to stay connected virtually to your spiritual community. For example, you'll also find information on our website about registration for our fall classes. That's open now. There's such a beautiful variety of classes on the core teachings of Science of Mind, also on classes we call spiritual enrichment topics. So please go there, check that, and join us for a class. We have weekly, monthly, all kinds of groups that you can participate in. They're free for you to connect with the spiritual community. Some highlights, for example, are our Sunday evening conversations. This evening, practitioner Kristen McAtee invites us into practicing what we want to grow. Anybody can participate in the Sunday evening conversation. Now this month, and also in September, we're going to have Wednesday Night Wisdom. That takes place at 7 p.m. and the program is based on a book by activist and civil rights attorney Valerie Kaul. The book is See No Stranger. We've already mentioned membership orientation for new members and for existing members. You can register for that class on August 23. It starts at 1 p.m. I'd love to see you there. I'll be teaching that class, and you'll get to meet some trustees and staff, and it'll be a good time. Now, one of the really good ways to build connection in a spiritual community and to develop friendship is to be part of a small group. We call our groups Circles for Spiritual Connection. They're free, they're weekly, they take place on Zoom, and it's an opportunity to discuss and share reflections on the messages from Sunday from your Center for Spiritual Living, and also to discuss how spiritual principle can be translated into daily life applications. A new series is starting soon, so you'll want to go to our website and register for a circle that meets your needs. Did you know that there is free, confidential prayer right after this service? All you have to do is exit this webinar, go to the website, get the link, and get there on time because the virtual prayer room closes. Practitioners are there. They get there a little bit early to prepare the room and be available for you. You'll arrive, and then the host will pair you up with a practitioner in a private room where they will do a spiritual mind treatment for you. In other words, an affirmative prayer. Thank you so much for being part of our spiritual community. And now please say these words with me. And if they are not familiar to you yet, if you hang around in these virtual services, very soon you will know them from memory. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I express it. Just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. I'll see you later this afternoon in the virtual social hall. Goodbye.
Bulldogs lie beside the door. They toss and turn and scratch and snore. They fight again their puppy wars. The playful battles raging. Bulldogs lie alone at night. They tuck their tails, they curl up tight. They howl when moons are full and bright, and recall when they were lovers. Bulldogs have a song to sing. Bulldogs like most everything. They care not what the weather brings, except when it is thunder. Bulldogs look you in the eye. They hold your heart, they never lie. They bark at planes up in the sky and wish that they were flyers. Bulldogs dogs dream about the past, when they frolic fields of golden grass and chase the icy winter's blast to lie by home fires burning. Old dogs wander off alone. Old dogs know the way back home. The slightest scent, the buried bone, the hunter home returning. Old dogs come, old dogs go. Old dogs always seem to know that love is life's most precious flow, and love is worth waiting. And when their time on earth is through, old dogs are forever true. And round the bend they wait for you, come some tomorrow morning. When their time on earth is through, old dogs are forever true. And round the bend they wait for you, come some tomorrow morning. When their time on earth is through, old dogs are forever true. And round the bend they wait for you, come some tomorrow morning.